Hi, my name is Colin, and this is my FIEA level design assignment submission. Here I decided to make a third-person shooter horror level where the player needs to escape a underground facility. I took inspiration from games such as Dead Space and Resident Evil for mechanics, encounters, set dressing, and level design. For this environment, I was going for a dark, abandoned, and rundown, nightmarish type environment. In order to achieve this, I used set dressing to my advantage with creating clutter, knocked over objects, blood trails, and rooms filled with fire and different types of sections of the facility filled with cluttered and fire to help ground the player in this horror environment. To create a more realistic feel to the level, I used the game animation sample animations that came out with UE 5.5. With that, it allowed for more realistic running, walking, crouching, with also being able to create traversable obstacles where the player needs to vault or mantle over pushed over objects that you can see throughout the level. With that, it allowed to create a more grounded feel with the player having to not just walk or sprint through an environment, but actually climb and move through this facility, grounding the player and immersing them more in this environment. Along with set dressing, lighting was a key factor in really selling this atmosphere. Lighting is very important to a game, and I used it here by making dimly lights and flashing lights to show off the destroyed state of the facility, kind of like the ship from Dead Space. Along with that, I had added strobing lights that help bring a sense of warning and caution to the player, making them approach and play through the environment with a sense of caution. Lights placed on the ground, flashing on certain set pieces, layered with blood, help sell the destroyed abandoned state, from flashlights on the ground that are strobing, and just straight up lights flashing. The color of the lights help create contrast, from white lights to dingy yellow and offset blues, to help create different shadows and levels of darkness across the level, along with giving each section their own type of feel in the facility while still remaining the same type of coloration. Lighting is not only used to help the environment and establish a sense of atmosphere, but it's also used to help lead the player throughout the level. And I did that within this level, with subconsciously leading the player through the level by having a long hallway, having a blinking light at the end of it to help be a center point, grabbing the player's attention, while still having other sections of the facility to explore, but keeping that little nugget in their mind that, hey, I should probably go down that hallway and see what's down there. Movement was something else I made sure to focus within this level, with the different blinking spot, point, and rotating lights help bring to life the movement of this level. With the use of widgets, I was able to make sure the UI was simplified to not be too flashy to break immersion, along with the crosshair widget removing itself if not aiming and bringing itself back up if aiming, to not have any icon on the screen that's unnecessary. My thought process throughout this level is how can I keep roping the player to need to do different things to get to their final goal while still creating enemy encounters. For example, once the player gets the code to take the excavator out, they find out that they must first reroute power where they face more enemies, along with getting blocked by having to complete a side objective with going down the generator room. By using blueprints, I was able to create these events such as the keypadded and keycard door that the player must first explore the facility to unlock, along with elevators to travel through the level and an objective marker as to not get lost throughout the game. The level finally ends with the player taking the long ride up to the surface to be met with a beautiful landscape in the middle of a forest in the middle of nowhere. Using the landscape tool, I was able to sculpt this landscape with the outside being almost like a box and canyon with hills and mountains. And using the foliage tool, I was able to place trees and grass and wind flowing throughout it. This landscape helps contrast the horrors that the player was just met with, being introduced to a completely different world than the horrors they just ensued. Here are some more in-game shots displaying the lighting, set dressing, particle effects, landscape, and foliage throughout the level. Thank you so much for viewing my FIEA application, and thank you so much for your time. Thank you.